Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Brian C. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. Today is an anniversary day for Tesla, as 6 years ago today it announced the Model 3, and it's not an exaggeration to say that this was a make or break moment for Tesla, and all I have to say is I'm very thankful they ultimately made it. In case you happen to come across this video on Twitter, a decent amount of people have been interacting with it. No, Tesla does not actually have charge ports on both sides of the vehicle. This is not a new Easter egg, just some very good editing. It looks like Giga Shanghai has canceled its plans to resume production, which was supposed to happen tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, this coming from an internal notice. Tesla may have also opted to extend the shutdown due to a shortage of workers, with lockdowns continuing on some housing compounds in the area. And in a stark contrast to Elon's behavior with Western regulations, Tesla told Reuters on Thursday it had strictly implemented China's prevention policy and control requirements. I know a lot of people think Elon is a loose cannon. However, this is a little bit of evidence that he does indeed know when to hold his tongue. A quick word of caution, this video has been trending today from some news articles, essentially saying that Tesla is building a new Model Y every 150 seconds due to the vehicles coming out of the building with a certain cadence. That would essentially be 192 vehicles per day, or roughly 1,000 per week. I just want to say be careful what conclusions you draw just from this one video, and I personally would be very careful extrapolating a run rate from one video clip. However, with that said, I don't think these numbers would be too far off, and it would be a bullish signal for initial production. Next up, we have a new filed Tesla patent, as A1 is filed and B1 is granted. This is new technology to heat and cool seats. The patent says attempts to provide air ventilation through the seat foam are typically insufficient to remove excess heat and provide a comfortable environment for the occupant. Further, conventional heating systems are bulky, occupy space in the seat, which typically requires the seat to be thicker, and are inefficient in heating the seat, as the heat typically must travel through multiple layers and heat regions of the seat that the occupant does not contact. Hence, there is need for an improved temperature control system for vehicle seats. And this temperature control system further includes a fluid pump to provide fluid flow through the intermediate layer in the seat. Full patent will be linked below. What do you know, we have another note from Adam Jonas and Morgan Stanley on Tesla. I just want to highlight one line that I found to be very interesting. So of course, Tesla is a car and a tech company, but it's also an energy company, and what we're seeing emerge over the course of this year is Tesla as a renewable energy onshore infrastructure company. We believe Tesla's role in constructing the EV supply chain and EV infrastructure will become increasingly evident to the investment community over the next few weeks and months. So yes, it could just be a thought, or it could be they have an idea of something that we might hear on an earnings call here in the next few weeks. Much is being made today that Tesla and SpaceX were both left off Time's most influential companies of 2022 list. I just want to say Tesla and SpaceX were both on this list for 2021, and ultimately whether they are or are not on this list, it's going to have zero impact on Tesla's business model, so really this is just noise. For 2022, Rivian was included under the Innovators section, and Ford was included under the Titans category. There is one thing I found to be a little off. It was in the write-up for Rivian, where it said, "There is little doubt that Rivian has been hugely influential in pushing the auto industry to adopt a more widespread embrace of EVs. To date, the most popular EVs have largely been sedans and crossovers from Tesla and General Motors." So I would argue no, Rivian has not been hugely influential. It's mostly been Tesla. And two, I would ask, well, what GM EV has been one of the most popular EVs? I'm not seeing any personally. Ultimately, the point of these lists is to get people talking, and this will do exactly that, and it's good for Ford and Rivian. They're going to need all the support they can get as they move toward electrification. And remember, Tesla and SpaceX were on the list last year. Maybe they just don't want companies on the list year after year. Either way, no big deal. Electric got its hands on an internal memo, and it looks like we'll have some fairly serious shortages and delays when it comes to Tesla's solar roof and the installations. This internal communication was from Tesla's solar scheduling team, and it said to focus on solar panel rooftop retrofits as the solar tile supply is low. The team also committed to not scheduling new installations. One Tesla solar customer sent these images to Electric. This is their roof with a waterproof layer as they await their solar roof tiles. This waterproofing is supposed to last for 6 months, but there have reportedly been 2 leaks already that Tesla had to fix, and now they're being told their solar tiles may not be in for the rest of the year. Look, I know unexpected things happen, but Tesla really needs to have contingency plans in place. If I was this homeowner, I'd obviously be upset and worried about what might happen with my house. Maybe Tesla has a plan in place, but we're not told about it in this case. And that's another thing Tesla really needs to do a better job of communicating with these customers. And I'm ultimately sharing this just as a warning. Perhaps it would be wise to not remove your roof until all of the materials needed are delivered to your home and ready to be installed. This is not at all a jab to this user, just a thought for future owners. And for whatever it's worth, earlier this year, Tesla said these delays are broadly impacting the US solar industry and are outside Tesla's control. Question for you. Do you wish you would have bought more Tesla stock when it dipped into the 700s? Me too. Luckily, there's a new solution thanks to Composer, the sponsor of today's video. Composer lets us remove subjectivity and emotions from investing by using if-then rules to automate our investing strategies. For example, I can build a rule so that when the SPY dips below its 200-day moving average, my portfolio will then buy X amount automatically, so you don't ever have to worry about missing the dip again, whether you are at work, golfing, sleeping, you get the idea. So that was a very simple example, but the granularity of what you can do on Composer is truly mind-blowing. And if you don't want to build your own symphony, as they call it, you can choose from many pre-built options Composer has made available, each with descriptions, risk ratings, and back-tested data. The Buffett gives you a nice 90-10 strategy, and the Dalio gives you a portfolio symphony modeled after, yep, the legendary Ray Dalio. Look, this is honestly a really cool company, and you can start building these symphonies even before you invest any actual money. Plus, if you have any questions, their support team will be happy to help. And many of you guys know my first symphony: whenever Tesla dips below the 200-day moving average, then I will buy as much as I can afford. And you can actually get started with my custom Tesla Buy the Dip symphony, which is in the description below. Here it is in all of its glory, already pre-built for you. If you would like to check out Composer for yourself, you can use my link in the description below, and thank you to Composer for sponsoring this video. So Raoul is one of the brightest economic minds I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. He co-founded Real Vision Finance, and they have some excellent content. He tweeted, "Want to hear the justification for Tesla with a $20 trillion market cap in 13 years? You'll either hate it or find it interesting." Raoul did an interview with Tim Davies from Hold On Investments, and I'll link the full video below, but I want to play a few clips for you.
So for you, Tesla's still not overpriced?
No, I think it's a long way off, actually. We took a really different approach to this. So, we looked at it, sat back and said, look, what's going on here? 30-year handover, probably, of leaving our combustion engine vehicles into electric vehicles. So it was quite unique to actually look to build a 30-year model of what that looks like. I think in most modeling, we probably look at it and say anything more than 10 is pretty hard to, is it realistic? This is quite unique in that there's two main drivers. One is obviously the environment we know about. ICE, internal combustion cars, they produce about 30% of greenhouse gases. So it's a pretty easy target. I think it's one of the bigger targets to attack in terms of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. When we looked at the data, what we did in our model is we captured about 62 countries in the world and about 92% of the world's population. What really jumped out is it's rising incomes in developing markets that are going to drive the EV story. 70 to 75% of cars sold are going to be in developing markets, and between 40 and 50% of every year it will be India and China. So EVs is much more of a story around rising wealth in India and China than it is really any other major factor outside of like what I touched on, the environmental push. Tesla to me is probably one of the most misunderstood companies in the market. What do you think is the greatest mindset challenge for entrepreneurs? I believe it's shifting from thinking linearly to thinking exponentially. And that's the thing that jumps out with Tesla. Like, people look at the numbers and go, oh, that can't possibly happen. When we look at Tesla today, They'll be close to 900,000 units this year. We think comfortably they're at 5.5 by 2025. We think 15 to 20 as early as 2030. And we see them, stretching out into the 40 million units per year in the 2040s through our model. As, like I said, India and China really starts to accelerate new car ownership.
Yeah, we had the head of innovation for VW on. I interviewed him as part of this Exponential Age series. And he said, listen, Tesla has the ability to raise capital and start from scratch. We've got to phase out an existing, very successful, massive business and build a new business. And we've had to fund it out of cash flow. So, yes, of course we're behind. But, he said the pain to do that was truly extraordinary. It's bloody hard to catch Tesla because you've got this gap that you were talking about, that investment gap, that is time as well as money. And what's Tesla going to be in another 5 years' time?
Like I said, on a DCF basis, we think the stock's actually incredibly cheap. And people go,
some people are going to be watching this hating you because they for some reason, they get emotional about Tesla, don't understand. It's the fear of change and technology. I don't know what it is. Sure, people hate Elon Musk. He's a bit of a showman. But people really hate this company.
So we did a DCF on it, about an 8.5% discount over 30 years, and we get a 3,400 valuation.
Well, I'm just looking where the stock is.
That's today. It's 1,030.
1,000. So it's trading at a third of its today's value, is what you're saying.
Today's DCF value.
So a couple of quick thoughts. Look, any 30-year model is going to have huge assumptions and guesswork built in. I think we all know that. And Tim is definitely an uber Tesla bull, and I don't agree with everything that he said. For example, this is a blog post written by them around the same time of this interview, and they said, our model predicts global EV sales will surge to 206 million vehicles per year by 2050. And they noted Tesla's major competitors will struggle to keep up with the company. The world's largest automakers are drowning in $900 billion of debt, as the three main German automakers, VW, BMW, and Mercedes, collectively hold $450 billion of debt. This all was written in November 2021. And a big part of this theme that I think goes overlooked by many is this. They say rising wealth across India should see vehicle ownership rise from 9% today to over 30% by 2050. And check this out. Holon predicts Tesla's annual free cash flow will reach $500 billion by 2037 and $1 trillion by 2047. This type of thing will have to go into the prediction tracker. This all would support a valuation beyond $20 trillion by 2050. And Holon believes Tesla is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. That part I definitely agree with. And last up for today should probably come as no surprise, but Faraday Future is under investigation by the SEC. Members of management and employees received subpoenas related to a formal probe of the company. And because of this, Faraday said it would not be able to file its annual report for 2021 in the allotted time. But that'll do it for today. Don't forget to check out my custom Tesla by the Dip Symphony linked below. Please like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.